To help Jennifer seize power, I proposed a fake marriage. "Why would you help me?" she asked, puzzled. "It's mutual. My parents keep nagging me about partying too much. Once we're married, you'll need to cover for me," I replied. She agreed without hesitation. She had no idea I was never the playboy she despised. I had been in love with her for 8 years. Later, she successfully took control of the Delaney group and reunited with her first love. I figured it was time to end this fake marriage. But with tears in her eyes, she leaned into me, her voice soft and aggrieved. "Honey, why don't you want me anymore? I have a crush on this girl. Her name is Jennifer Delaney. Jennifer soft and elegant. Delaney kind of poetic, like Child of the Night in Gaelic or something. Yeah, I know, it sounds way too sophisticated coming out of my mouth. But I memorized it anyway, because it sounds freaking beautiful." The first time I shared this little tidbit with my buddy, Jason, he shivered dramatically. The first time I told my buddy Benjamin those 2 lines, he exaggeratedly shivered and said, "Jennifer wouldn't even introduce herself with that much flair. What are you showing off for? Planning to impress her with your so-called culture? Honestly, it's just pretentious. Careful, it'll backfire." An idiot with no taste isn't worth my breath. All my buddies had way worse taste than me. I can say that with confidence, because back in high school, none of them appreciated Jennifer's charm. At our elite high school, where most kids came from privileged backgrounds and were spoiled brats, Jennifer was the real deal, straight A+ student, student council president, teacher's favorite, the pride of the school, the standout among all the rich kids, always shining wherever she went. Every time I saw her, my heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest. But these losers, with their shallow experiences and poor judgment, claimed Jennifer was too strong and couldn't trigger a man's protective instinct, saying that made her lose her feminine charm. Bullshit. They were just weak, lacking the courage and ability to attract an outstanding girl like her, so they talked trash out of jealousy. I was different. Sure, I was just another good-for-nothing rich kid, useless and spineless, but at least I admitted it. Jennifer was the best girl in the world. I asked Benjamin to help me figure out how to win Jennifer over. He shivered and asked, "You seriously want to go after Jennifer?" I nodded. "She's the kind of person who'd publicly confront the principal. You sure you want to pursue her?" He shivered again. Oh, he was talking about the latest moment that made me fall even harder for her. Not long ago, we got a new principal, a stiff, middle-aged man. He announced that all female students must wear skirts as part of their uniform and could no longer wear pants like the boys. Not only did he ban uniform pants, but he also required girls to pair their skirts with white knee-high socks, Japanese style. To stress the new rule, the principal went on a rant on stage about how girls should look like girls, that wearing skirts was proper etiquette, and how girls with short hair looked unruly, and so on. At the end, he ordered the student council to strictly enforce the rule. Any girl who disobeyed would be punished and have points deducted. Before he even finished speaking, Jennifer, as the student council president, grabbed the mic and fired back with a series of sharp and powerful questions. "Excuse me, principal, who gets to define what being a girl looks like? I believe every girl's own expression of herself is what makes her a girl. Mulan disguised herself as a man and joined the army in ancient times, earning praise for being as capable as any man. Now it's the 21st century, and suddenly girls dressing more boldly is disrespectful? Principal, did you time travel here from the Qing dynasty? Our school motto is, the soul of China, the vision of the world. I'd like to ask, which part of what you said aligns with global vision? You don't respect diversity. You're authoritarian, dictatorial, and rigid. How can you possibly cultivate students with a global perspective?" Every word Jennifer spoke was forceful and resonant. No one, not even the principal, dared to breathe or interrupt while she spoke. Only after she finished did the audience erupt into thunderous applause. After that, the new rule was quietly dropped. Though many of us came from influential families, the principal was also a shareholder of the school's investment group, and not someone easily challenged. Our school wasn't like those elite schools on TV, where even the principal feared offending students. Publicly confronting the principal carried risks. We were in the middle of global standardized exam. If the principal got angry and expelled Jennifer, she'd be forced to take a gap year, which would seriously impact her academic path. But Jennifer still chose to stand up for the girls, refusing to let them be boxed in by narrow definitions. Benjamin said that every time he thought back to Jennifer's powerful and commanding speech, standing like a one-woman army, he felt overwhelmed by her invisible pressure, his knees going weak. Since then, he couldn't help but want to flee every time he saw her in person. What a coward, I despised him. I was different. Whenever I thought of Jennifer like that, my heart practically exploded from how cool she was. I don't think you can win her over because she doesn't even like men, Benjamin said. Just look at her mother. Jennifer's mother was the head of the Delaney group. Some said she had Jennifer through a sperm bank. Others said she had been married but raised Jennifer alone afterward. Over the years, plenty of outstanding businessmen in J City tried to become Jennifer's stepfather, but none succeeded. The head of Delaney Group stayed single and fully focused on her career, leaving no room for any man. Thinking about this, I did feel a bit discouraged, but quickly cheered myself up. If Jennifer wanted, I could be her sperm bank too, or be the man she leaves out of the picture. I may not have many talents, but I'm handsome. My looks are definitely solid. As long as she gives me even a tiny chance to get close to her, I'll make sure she'll never want to leave me. Benjamin was wrong. Jennifer did like men, just not me. Damn it, that pretty boy. That damn transfer student. The first time I saw Jennifer smile so gently at someone, with a touch of shy sweetness beneath her usual grace, it was like watching a rose bloom, vibrant yet bashful, breathtakingly beautiful. My heart ached too, grinding and creaking, don't ask. That's the sound of me gnashing my teeth. I wanted to chew that transfer student to bits and swallow him whole so he'd never appear in front of Jennifer again. Give it up, Luke. Benjamin poured cold water on me again. You've seen it. Even if Jennifer likes guys, she only likes someone like Jason. You and Jason are polar opposites. Jason, that was the transfer student's name. What's so great about him? So, what if he's paler and smarter? Total nerd. Why does Jennifer like him? Luke, you're being unfair. Jason is no nerd. The school brought him in specifically to boost our Oxbridge admissions. He's a genius, Benjamin said, still happily dousing me with cold water. I was furious. Whose side are you on? Precisely because I'm your buddy. I'm telling you to give up, Benjamin said. We're just not in Jennifer's league. Why did she fall for Jason so quickly? Because they're both top students, equals who admire each other. Even without Jason, someone like her would never notice slackers like us. Why obsess over Jennifer? Wouldn't it be better to find someone who actually likes you? Give up? Not in this lifetime. It's my bad luck to have a buddy like you, Benjamin shouted. If you insist on pursuing Jennifer, fine, but don't embarrass our brotherhood. I didn't get what he meant. I'll handle everything for you. You don't need to understand, Benjamin said. You'll see in a few days. Well, Great Benjamin's plan was to ruin my reputation. I don't know what kind of stories he spread, but in just a few days, everyone at school knew about my romantic history. I supposedly had girlfriends since I was a kid. The line of girls wanting to date me stretched from school to Paris. I was a free-spirited playboy who only liked sweet, obedient girls. Are you helping me or sabotaging me? I couldn't hold back and punched Benjamin. With this playboy image, how would Jennifer even look at me? Benjamin dodged my fist nimbly and said righteously, Listen to me. Just listen. Fine, I'm listening. Let's see what kind of crap he had to say. Benjamin said I wasn't Jennifer's type. If I pursued her outright, she'd reject me and we'd lose even the chance to be friends. So I had to do the opposite, pretend I wasn't interested, avoid triggering her defenses, start as friends, build rapport, and then strike when the time was right. But as a cheerful, sunny guy, if I hung around Jennifer too much, even a fool would know my intentions. That's why the playboy persona was crucial. I was surrounded by girls, never short of admirers, and never had to chase anyone. This way, I could advance or retreat as needed. If an opportunity arose, I could be the reformed playboy who chose only her from among countless options she'd be touched to tears. And if I never won her over, at least I'd still have my dignity. In school and beyond, I'd still be a man. This theory sounded a bit off, but also kind of made sense. Maybe I should give it a try? I started sneaking around for chances to get close to Jennifer. Honestly, it was tough. She was in Class A, I was in Class F. We didn't have much natural overlap. Even with my infamous playboy reputation, she showed zero curiosity about me. Until one morning class when I was late, Jennifer was on duty that day. As I walked into the building, she stopped me and asked for my class and name. Then, with her slender, elegant hand, she carefully wrote my name into her little notebook. My God! She spoke to me. She personally wrote my name, and I stood right next to her. So close, I could see the little shadow her long lashes cast under her eyes when she looked down. I was completely distracted for the rest of the morning, feeling like sprinting a few laps around the field from excitement. I'd finally found a way to get close to Jennifer without alarming her. After that, whenever Jennifer was on duty, I'd always be late. She often caught me smoking, caught me sneaking food deliveries. The more she caught me, the more familiar we became. After catching me again, she even smiled at me. You again, Luke. Her smile was beautiful. Benjamin, being a sour lemon, insisted it was a helpless smile. Helpless? Please. That was clearly a caring smile. Fine, caring, but bro, I'm begging you. Our class is dead last in monthly rankings now. Our homeroom teacher's about to explode. Not a big deal. I stuffed a 5-figure cash gift into his desk. His bonus was on me, so stop bothering me about school rules. The teacher didn't take my bribe. Instead, he made me write a self-reflection and memorize the school regulations, threatening to tell my dad and cut off my credit card if I didn't. No being late, no skipping class, no smoking. There wasn't a single rule I liked except one. No dating. Heh. Thanks to that rule, Jennifer and the Jason wouldn't get anywhere before graduation. Perfect. After writing my reflection, I went right back to breaking the rules. That's how Jennifer and I slowly got closer in this weird way. You're really strange, Jennifer said. You break the most rules, but you always accept punishment so nicely. Since you're so good at admitting your mistakes, can't you actually change for once? I grinned. If I hadn't broken so many rules, I wouldn't have left such a deep impression on her. Suddenly, I felt like teasing her. Madam President, are you concerned about me? If you'd personally supervise me, I'd gladly change my ways. Cold, obedient top student, saving the rebellious bad boy, what a perfect dynamic. Jennifer pursed her lips. I don't have time. I panicked. How can you not have time? As student council president, isn't helping students reform part of your job? Jennifer looked at me with her crystal clear eyes, more serious than ever, making my heart pound wildly. Luke, you're not a child. You know exactly what you're doing and can take responsibility for it. Why would you need others to supervise you? I was completely mesmerized by her crystal-like gaze. By the time I snapped out of it, she was already gone. Oh, if only she would look at me like that every day. 3 years of school life, and my relationship with Jennifer was lukewarm like friends, but not quite. After 3 years of breaking rules, I still hadn't found a way to take things further. Benjamin tried to persuade me to give up again. What a joke, I was never giving up. If 3 years didn't work, I'd do another 3. You sure you'll even get into the same university as Jennifer? Benjamin scoffed. What kind of question is that? Jennifer got into Oxford, I got into Oxford, Brooks both in Oxford. Only the 2 of us from our school ended up there. The others either couldn't get into Oxford or looked down on Oxford Brooks. Perfect for me. In a foreign land, 2 old acquaintances, it was fate. Even better, that Jason went to the US instead. Smart move. But Jennifer seemed heartbroken. I saw her smile and wish him luck at his dream school. But when she turned away, her eyes reddened. My heart ached like being stabbed with needles. Hands. Louds. If Jennifer could tear up for me like that one day, that would be enough. But I despised Jason. He had originally promised Jennifer they'd go to the UK together. What kind of man breaks his word? Even though his decision technically benefited me, I still looked down on it. I happily imagined our days abroad, 2 people in a foreign city, with only each other as the most familiar presence. And it's only natural for familiar people to take care of each other, right? With all that back and forth, wouldn't that lead to something more? Heh. But I forgot, Jennifer was fiercely independent. She didn't need anyone's help. If the mountain wouldn't come to me, I would go to the mountain. She didn't need me, but I could need her. President Gu, come with me to buy some essentials? You know I suck at English. Come explore the city with me? You know I suck at English. I can't understand any of this paper. Since we're in the same major, can you tutor me? You know, Jennifer often sighed at me. Young Master Mo, if it's really that bad, maybe your family should hire you a private tutor? I immediately gave her a hurt look. I'm so dumb. I must have troubled you a lot. It's all my fault. If only I were smarter. Jennifer looked at me with a complicated expression. You don't need to be so. So what? Are you like this in front of all those girls, the ones supposedly lining up for you all the way to Paris? She asked, adding, like, she carefully chose a word. Spoiled? My God. She brought up my rumored girlfriends. In other words, she was jealous. Even if it wasn't exactly jealousy, at least she was curious about me. Hey, ha ha ha, ho ho ho. I forced myself to keep a straight face. Of course not. Not to mention, I'd never actually been involved with any other girls. Even in normal interactions, I'd never act this way with anyone else. Only in front of Jennifer would I soften up like this. Jennifer gave a soft "oh" and didn't press further. Suddenly, I remembered something important. All these years, I'd carried the Playboy label. How did Jennifer really see me? Did she think I was unreliable or that I was dirty? I asked, and Jennifer glanced at me, a bit confused. Luke, we're just friends. Why would I have any opinions about your personal life? As long as you're happy. I didn't know how to feel. Maybe I should have been happy that we were finally close enough to be real friends, but for some reason, melancholy surrounded me. Actually, I'd considered being more direct. After all this time, hiding my feelings seemed ridiculous. But after witnessing how Jennifer handled suitors she wasn't interested in, I backed off. She was ruthless. For the guys who tried to get close, she would quietly distance herself. If anyone confessed, she'd politely acknowledge their feelings, saying she understood. She understood but wouldn't accept. If they kept pushing, she'd block and delete them entirely. The next time they met, she'd look at them like strangers? No, even worse than strangers. If I rushed in recklessly, I might lose even the chance to stay friends with her. I once asked her, indirectly, why she was so harsh. We were having hot pot at the time. Through the rising steam, she looked at me with a half smile. Actually, I'm curious, how do you manage to be so accepting of anyone who comes your way? Accepting of anyone? Where did that rumor even come from? Speaking of which, since you came abroad, why haven't you been partying nonstop and instead keep bothering me with academic questions? Jennifer suddenly gave me a suspicious look. I couldn't help but shiver. I had to stay in character as the playboy, or I'd be the next one she distanced herself from. Well, my old man said if I don't graduate, I won't get to inherit the family business. I thought I'd be freer out here, but nope, still a pain. I almost believed myself. President, you have to help me out. I took the chance to play the victim again. Jennifer nodded. We're old friends. Of course. Then she sent me 2 tutor recommendations via WeChat. Both are my classmates at Oxford. They're looking to make some extra money and are perfect for your major. Don't be shy. Sometimes I really wanted to bite her. Sigh, Jennifer was probably annoyed with me by now. Otherwise, why would she treat me so coldly? I didn't dare approach her for a while, afraid she'd block and delete me in frustration. I decided to back off for a bit. Well, the moment I stopped contacting her, she never reached out either. Absolutely hopeless. Over a month later, she finally texted me. I barely had time to get excited before she said, "You didn't reach out to the tutors I recommended?" I replied, "Gave up, went partying instead." She answered, Oh, that was it?" I was too annoyed to say anything else. But after thinking it over, I couldn't waste this chance. She messaged me first, after all. I asked, "What have you been up to lately?" She replied, "Classes, reading papers, library, homework. Oxford's coursework is intense." Honestly, sometimes I felt pretty lost chasing after Jennifer. I didn't know what I could offer her. She was strong, independent, capable, perfectly fine on her own. It seemed like she didn't need anyone. Maybe she wanted someone who shared her goals, but would that person ever be me? The closer I got to her, the farther away she seemed. My years at university passed like that, never too close, never too far. I made some progress, maybe, but the goal was still light years away. It was like walking 100 kilometers on Earth when my destination was on Mars. Without a spaceship, everything felt like a hopeless fantasy. And for some reason, as I got older, my confidence and drive slowly faded. I was even starting to accept what seemed inevitable, that Jennifer and I would stay like this forever. Not too close, not too far. Maybe one day I'd attend her wedding as a guest, witnessing her love, and she would never know I had loved her for a very long time. Thank you for inviting me to witness your love. Damn it, why was this Western shop playing Chinese songs? Did they even pay royalties? After returning home, Benjamin started dragging me out to party again. He studied media. opened an entertainment company, and was constantly surrounded by beautiful women. He tried to persuade me. Luke, you've been hung up on her for so many years. Stop dreaming about Jennifer, man. Find someone else. I wanted to take his advice, but honestly, it was boring. Those girls, whether sweet, innocent, or seductive, all felt the same. None of them shone. In all these years, I had only met one girl who truly shone Jennifer. She shines like a 1,000-watt light bulb, but none of that light ever reaches you. Why torture yourself, Luke? Benjamin sighed. Yeah, she doesn't shine on me, but I still like her. Even if I can only admire her from afar, I still like her. Later, Benjamin gave me a mysterious gift. I can't help you win Jennifer in real life, but here's something to cheer you up. It was a VR headset. When I put it on, I was stunned. It was an interactive game modeled after Jennifer herself. My face flushed after watching for a minute, and then I beat Benjamin up. Who else has seen this? Anyone? Benjamin dodged my punches, screaming, No one! No one's seen it! I only uploaded a facial photo. The full face body composite was generated the moment you powered it on. You're the only one who's seen it. At least he had some sense. If Jennifer finds out about this, she'll kill me, I muttered. She'd have to find out first. What, you think you'll actually bring Jennifer home someday? Benjamin rolled his eyes. Do you want it or not? If not, I'm taking it back. I want it. I gritted my teeth. I couldn't risk even the slightest chance of this thing leaking. Benjamin gave me a sly look like he expected this reaction. Honestly, the game was boring. The Jennifer inside wasn't real. She didn't shine. I soon tossed it aside. But at night, I started dreaming about her again. It wasn't the first time, but this time the dream left me restless, filled with overwhelming desire. God, can't you just give me one real chance to get close to Jennifer? The opportunity came out of nowhere. Honestly, if I had known it would come like this, I would have rather never had it. Jennifer's mom died in a car accident. With no leader, Delaney group was thrown into chaos. Her grandfather and uncle tried to seize control and force Jennifer out. I'd heard the Delaney group's backstory. It was originally founded by Jennifer's grandfather. He intended to pass it to his son, but Jennifer's uncle nearly drove it into bankruptcy. Her mom stepped in, turned things around, and grew Delaney Group from a small company into an industry leader. Everyone assumed most of the shares would be left to her mom, but that wasn't the case. Her grandfather and uncle controlled 45%, her mom had 30%, and the rest were scattered among small shareholders. After her mom's sudden death, panic spread among those shareholders, and her grandfather and uncle took the chance to buy up loose shares to gain full control. They wanted to steal the fruits of Jennifer's mother's hard work. Naturally, Jennifer wouldn't allow it. She wanted to protect her mother's legacy, but she was weak and outnumbered. The small shareholders trusted her mom, but didn't necessarily trust her. Jennifer needed strong allies to stabilize the situation and win their support. But people are practical. She was clearly at a disadvantage. Who would stick their neck out for her? That's exactly what her grandfather and uncle were counting on, but they didn't know I would. I always would. For the first time, I was grateful my parents had given me a family background equal to Jennifer's. If Jennifer married me, the Moe family would stand behind her. She not only stabilized the shareholders, but could even buy back shares and crush her grandfather and uncle. So I found Jennifer and proposed a contractual marriage. It was the first time I saw her so fragile, eyes red, face exhausted, an air of delicate vulnerability that made me want to pull her into my arms and say, "It's okay. You still have me." For her, the pain wasn't just her mother's death, but also the cruelty of family revealed afterward, blood relatives stabbing her in the back without hesitation. A contractual marriage? But I have nothing to offer you, Luke, she said, confused. Who says that? I replied casually. You don't know how much my parents pressure me to settle down. They keep stopping me from dating other pretty girls. If we get married, you'll help me deal with my parents, cover for me when I go out and have fun. With that offer on the table, she agreed. Benjamin called me crazy. This was your chance to confess you've loved her for years and ask her to marry you. Why go with this contract nonsense? I just smiled and said nothing. Jennifer already had too much on her shoulders. Adding romantic pressure would only make things harder for her. If I confess now, it wouldn't be love. It would feel like taking advantage of her situation, forcing her to say yes. Only this so-called contract, a mutually beneficial partnership, would allow her to accept it without any burden. I didn't want to see the always proud Jennifer bow her head, even if it was to me. I'm worried someone might investigate. To be safe, let's get a real marriage certificate. I suggested. Jennifer didn't refuse. Honestly, I had my own selfish reasons for bringing it up. I didn't know what the future would hold. Maybe once she stabilized Delaney Group, she'd ask for a divorce. Most likely, that's how it would end. But even so, it didn't matter. At least, for a time, she'd truly been my wife legally. We quickly got the marriage certificate and held a wedding soon after. It was so grand it attracted media attention. Gumo Alliance, Wedding of the Century. During the planning, Jennifer suggested several times that we keep it simple. As long as people know we're married, that's enough, she said. To her, it was just a formality. But to me, it was a dream come true. I had imagined countless times Jennifer walking toward me in a white wedding gown, us exchanging rings, vowing forever. So how could I let this wedding be rushed? It had to be perfect, a beautiful memory for the future. You know, my family doesn't exactly do things low-key. This scale looks normal for us. If we made it too small, people might get suspicious. That's how I explained it. Jennifer didn't say anything more. The sight of her walking toward me in her wedding dress was even more stunning than I had imagined. In that moment, the whole world seemed to lose its color. In my eyes, there was only her. She played her role perfectly, smiling sweetly, her beautiful eyes shining with tenderness, the picture of a blissful bride. In that moment, I truly felt I could die without regret. Only one thought remained in my head. I really married Jennifer. I had one little scheme for the wedding. I told the officiant to include a kissing segment, which hadn't been part of the original plan. Jennifer had no idea. So when the officiant announced it, her face immediately flushed as beautiful as spring blossoms. I pretended to be just as surprised. They must have added this on the spot to liven up the mood. But if you're uncomfortable, everyone's watching, she whispered and closed her eyes softly. Shamelessly, I wrapped my arms around her waist and pressed my lips to hers. It felt even better than I had imagined. Jennifer's eyelashes fluttered several times, her breath growing erratic from nervousness. I couldn't help but deepen the kiss. Her small hand on my chest clenched tightly. Only when whistles sounded from the audience did I snap back to reality, realizing I had lost control. "I'm sorry," I mouthed to her. She shot me a glance, eyes glistening with moisture, half angry, half resentful. My heart itched terribly. I schemed even more. For example, I said my parents wanted to live with us, which canceled our original plan to have separate rooms. I used the excuse of showcasing our newlywed affection to kiss and hug her at home. I had the couch removed from the bedroom so we could only sleep on one bed. Then at night, I would pull her into my arms while she slept, wrapping her hands and legs around me. The next morning, I would righteously claim it was her who clung to me first. I found every excuse to go out and return together with her, shamelessly calling her wife, and hearing her call me husband in return, and so on. I was despicable, shameless, addicted and wanting more. I felt like things were starting to slip out of my control. At first, I thought having a marriage with Jennifer was enough, even if it was doomed to end. But now, I found myself unable to accept that outcome. Being with Jennifer day and night felt too good. I couldn't bear to let go. Just thinking that one day she would end this ridiculous marriage and leave me made my chest feel stuffed with straw, suffocating me. I couldn't let go. I thought Jennifer would soon bring up ending the contract since she had now fully taken over Delaney Group. Jennifer was always capable. With the Mo family backing her, she quickly gained the support of the minority shareholders and became Delaney Group's CEO. Then, she boldly persuaded some shareholders to sell their shares to her at above-market prices. Now, she held 51% of Delaney Group's shares and had absolute control. She even outmaneuvered her grandfather and uncle, removing them entirely from the company's core management. With her goal accomplished, why would she want to stay trapped in this fake marriage? Lately, she had shown signs of impatience. Sometimes her words carried hidden barbs, but when questioned, she denied any dissatisfaction. At night, she purposely stayed on the edge of the bed, keeping a clear boundary between us, saying she didn't want to accidentally roll into my arms again. She also deliberately distanced herself, refusing to go out with me frequently. I figured she was eager to end things, not only because she no longer needed me, but also because Jason had returned. The first thing Jason did upon returning was visit Jennifer at Delaney Group. I happened to be there that day too, standing outside the office and clearly hearing Jason confess his feelings, saying he had never stopped thinking about her. That as teenagers, they didn't understand how precious first love was, and he hoped for another chance. I didn't listen further. I was afraid if I heard more, my heart would have nowhere left to hide. Jason couldn't forget her, and I suspected she couldn't forget him either. They were each other's white moonlight, the ones who had stunned each other in their youth, perfectly matched, sharing similar interests and mutual admiration. They belonged together, always had so much to say to each other. I didn't want to think about it anymore. It was unbearable. I took the initiative to suggest ending things. Rather than live with constant anxiety, waiting for her to deliver the final blow, I might as well end it myself. Jennifer froze for a moment, then asked why. I casually said that having a wife scared off too many girls who might have been interested. She didn't say anything else, just replied, "Okay." We immediately went to the registry office, just as quickly as we had when we got married. But we didn't get the divorce certificate that day. There was a mandatory 30-day cooling-off period. 30 days, she was probably eager to get it over with. I couldn't stop overthinking. I thought she wouldn't come home during this month, but she did. She pretended to be busy with work, staying in the study. Without Jennifer next to me in bed, it suddenly felt enormous and empty. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, when suddenly I smelled alcohol. At some point, Jennifer had entered the room, holding something in her hand. "What's this?" I looked closer and felt my scalp tingle. It was the VR headset Benjamin had given me, which I had kept in a drawer in the study. "Can you explain what this is?" she asked, staring straight at me. I didn't know how to explain. If I told the truth, I would never be able to lift my head again. I had loved her for 8 years, only daring to fantasize in secret like some pathetic pervert. "It's nothing. You're not exactly ugly. I'm a normal man. A little fantasy, that's all. I have plenty of other models too." I didn't even know what I was saying, completely incoherent. "Just a hobby. If you want, call the cops and arrest me." Jennifer let out a light, bell-like laugh. Then she did something I never expected. She loosened the sash of her nightgown. The clouds outside suddenly parted, and the moonlight poured in, so bright it was almost blinding. In an instant, her soft silhouette was wrapped in the glowing moonlight. My whole body trembled uncontrollably. "What are you afraid of?" Jennifer's voice was like an orchid blooming in a secluded valley, tempting and bewitching. "You dare imagine, but don't dare act? Jennifer, you." My voice tightened. Certain parts of me were about to snap. "Think of it as leaving me a memory," she murmured, as her hands moved to places they shouldn't. Any man who could resist at this point wouldn't be a real man. I immediately took the initiative, but, "A memory? That's all this is to you?" I sensed some hidden meaning in her words. "Weren't you planning to leave?" Jennifer's voice suddenly turned aggrieved. "Wasn't it you who wanted the divorce? You're the one who doesn't want me. If you agreed so quickly, that means you were planning to leave too," I said. She bit my shoulder hard, her hot tears sliding down my back. Hiss, how had I never noticed this playful side of her? "What else do you want from me?" Jennifer's voice was choked with sobs. "Yes, I've fallen for you, but I can't handle you having so many women. I don't want a life constantly dealing with mistresses." It felt like lightning struck my brain. "I didn't hear wrong, did I?" Jennifer said. She liked me? "I've tried so hard not to like you. I cut back on seeing you, avoided physical contact, constantly reminded myself that you're a player and not worth my feelings. But I can't help it. I can't live the rest of my life as some miserable wife crying over her cheating husband." She rambled on. "Let's just do this once. After tonight, we'll go our separate ways." But overwhelming joy exploded in my chest, far beyond words. In that moment, only the most primitive instinct could release my happiness. "Wife, don't go our separate ways." The night was short, but I knew that from this moment on, I would have a very long time to slowly share the joy that had been buried in my heart with her.